and welcome everyone. This is our last Windsor Ready talk for 2024. I am Diana Borges, the Windsor COPE Community Leader, and COPE stands for Communities Organized to Prepare for Emergencies. We have been doing monthly talks to help our community, not just Windsor but beyond, in natural disasters but also personal emergencies such as identity theft and things like that. All of our monthly talks are recorded and on our Windsor COPE YouTube channel. This one will be also, so if you want to go back and see any of those, the email I send out after this will have the link for that. So I want to talk a little bit first about Windsor COPE. And COPE started in Oakmont originally. It now has spread throughout the county. We in Windsor COPE are part of COPE Northern Sonoma County, which is a nonprofit organization. And our speaker today, Marrianne McBride, who is in charge of Council on Aging, is also COPE Northern Sonoma County Chair. So if you have any questions, she's actually right here for you after. So the COPE program is really about neighbors helping neighbors. It's about being prepared together for emergency, being there for each other, knowing the resources, but also building your own community. The example I give, which I think really hits, is when we have to shelter in place. So if a large earthquake hits, roads are blocked, so we can't get out, but also our first responders can't get to us because the size of the disaster or the downed trees and things like that. So we're going to be actually stuck with our neighbors. So that's why getting to know everyone ahead of time and knowing who might need some extra help, but also know if there's a nurse in your neighborhood or things like that. So it's being prepared and meeting. And just as Cindy Foreman, our fire district's fire marshal, says, getting back to the Mayberry syndrome. So even though I am the community leader, which is basically the liaison between COPE Northern Sonoma County, pass on information down to you, it's really ran by neighborhood leaders. Think about your block captains that in the past. So each neighborhood leader oversees 10 to 20 houses and just organizes, passes on information, things like that. Why would you want to be a COPE community? Because it's really about being there for each other and having someone there for you when you need it. And also, by working together and building our own community, preparing together, we actually do help our first responders. First responders actually say there are many of us and very few of them, and they can't be everywhere at the same time. So they do rely on us doing our own part to help them do their part. And the other thing is, we're out there, we don't have to do it alone. I mean, there are resources, there are neighbors, there are a lot of things. And what can we all do, you particularly? The big thing is to be ready, whatever that means for you. Okay, so you look at what risks you have in your house or you personally, and then you work at addressing that. And that might just be chipping things away, a little bit. For myself, I've worked on getting wildfire ready and I worked on getting earthquake ready. And I have bounced back between the two, trying to get rid of those at the highest risk in my house. We are looking for more people to become a neighborhood leader. So if any of you are interested, either for Windsor or if you're outside of Windsor, you can see Marrianne. She can help you with that part. And the email there, you can go to that. You can also, COPE Northern Sonoma County.org has a lot of other resources and explains more about the program if you're interested. We have Windsor COPE and COPE Northern Sonoma County both have Facebook pages you can follow. And then you can sign up to be on our newsletter. But everyone who has signed in here, I will automatically put you on our newsletter so that you know about upcoming events. And then also, like today, I sent an email out on the red flag warning that we just received. So many of you probably came here to get a NOAA weather radio. And to start with, I want to thank Christina Owens with the Town of Windsor. Christina was able to get these for us to pass out, and that was very special.
Yes.
So these radios are a little different. What you're going to do is set them up, turn it on, leave it plugged in, and that's it. You just turn it on, but make sure you have reception, so I'll go through it a little bit. It will send alerts out, not only the weather radio, weather portion, but SOCO emergency can send information out on it, so we will receive certain things. It will generate a alarm voice, and then if you also have maybe a little hearing deficiency, there are attachments that you can get to help with that. This is the one right now that we gave away, is the Midland. The one up there I wanted to show you, that's also Midland, but there are portable ones that you can take in your go bag. Those actually have a combo where they can be a flashlight, USB charger, radio, and a NOAA weather radio. So just as another option if you want something for your go bag. So it's not that difficult to program, but sometimes it gets confusing, so I want to go over a little bit. There are instructions in every one of your box, and if you have any confusion when you get home, go ahead and you can email me, or you'll come online too. So this is one that I already programmed. To turn on, it's on the side, and once it's set up, you have to have the antenna out. You're going to want to make sure that it works. And to do that, you push this. Obviously, our reception here is not great. There. Okay. If you hear the voice coming through, it's set up and you're good. You can turn volume up and down here. Turn that part back off. You don't need to turn that on to get your alerts, so they automatically come through. So the things that you're going to need to program really is your time and date. These have already been programmed for Sonoma County. So I put up there the frequency, but those that we received already have that in there, so you don't even have to do that. To program, you're going to hit the menu button, and then set time, you hit select, and then you're going to go up and down whatever time you need. One thing, and then over your keys. One thing to understand though, to change AM PM, you don't change AM PM, you have to go through your time. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 all the way until your clock runs back over to PM type of a thing. And if you need to follow up on information, you can go weather.gov, NWR is for NOAA Weather Radio, stands for that, or Midland USA is the brand of this, and you can find that out. Oh, make sure you put the batteries in. Batteries are in the back. So the batteries are in here in case you lose electricity. You have a backup. So today we got issued a red flag warning. So Tuesday morning basically to Thursday morning. Red flag warning means that there's a greater chance of fire danger. So we want to be a little more careful on what we do so we don't generate any sparks in a fire, but also be ready in case there is a fire that starts and we have to evacuate. So alerts. Strongly SOCO alert, Nixle, and watch duty. And if you need any help on that, see us afters. Christina and I can help you get those. Know your evacuation zone. Christina and I can help you with that also at the end if you need. Go bags. By now, we're way into the fire season. Everyone should have their go bags ready, but just make sure that they're there. Also, one thing to consider, have your pets accessible. know where they are. If there's, especially if there's a fire nearby, you want to have your pets inside, just in case. PG&E has said that they're going to be doing some power outages throughout the county. I have checked on, mine's not on the list right now. So there is a PG&E website where you can go check where the outages are and where, if there's future plan for you. But on all of this stuff, so the weather for the power outages, you need to periodically check because things change. Weather changes, conditions change. So it's not like I check now and 2 days later doesn't mean that something came up and I'm going to have a power outage. So just be more aware. And those are the websites you can go to get more information.
Does that include for power outages?
This one, yeah. So if you go there, that was for future. So you can put in your address and it'll pop up the information for future. And then there's little bars you can see for current conditions. You can go to, they have a map where you can go to see what the power outages are throughout the county.
Can you leave that up for just another minute?
The other thing you can do is take a picture, if anyone wants to.
And as of 10 a.m. this morning, when I was on the operational call, the PG&E representative was on there. There's around 1,500 accounts or customers that will be affected by this PSPS, but no one in the town of Windsor. So for those that are outside of Windsor, it's more of the higher elevation areas. But I could look up your address if you want to, if you don't have that information.
So the highest winds are predicted right now for Wednesday. We might have gusts up to like 37 miles an hour. So that's the most concerned area.
Does this map show the zones that,
The evacuation zones? Or
yes, yeah.
no, I don't have that here, but I do, since you're my neighbor, I do know what your evacuation zone is. Well, I'll make sure we write it down, okay? So your evacuation zones, one thing you can do is put it in as a contact on your phone. Then you always have it with you. You can also put it on paper. Christina has some cards for where you can look it up and you can write your evacuation zone right there. And then you can have it on your go bag or on your refrigerator. And, some of the times this is scary. But we all know the drill already. We've been through it several times. So it's being ready and being informed, knowing what to do, because that's the best we can do. We do our part and we're ready. And then we understand the situation. Any questions before I turn it over to Marrianne?
A request. I know some people probably could use the bed shakers and stuff, but of course they don't want to order stuff online. Have maybe places like the senior centers ever thought about selling them? That way people could have some of these items that maybe they normally wouldn't go out and get.
I don't know. I don't work for the senior center, so we can pass that on.
What was the question? Or a comment?
Because some people don't want to go online to get like the shakers for the radio. Is there a way like the senior center could have some here to sell or certain things like that?
I would talk to Jennifer. Yeah.
Because I know a lot of people don't order stuff online, and but maybe someplace like this where they could just walk in and buy them.
Sure. Yeah, I'll pass it on to Jennifer.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. Marrianne is going to speak about maintaining mental and physical health, and also how, keep in mind a lot of this stuff applies for the holidays that are coming up. There is a lot of different underlying stress with holidays. Some of us maybe are alone in the holidays, but there's a lot of expectations, let's put it that way, for the holidays that we try to rise to. Here's Marrianne. Oh, one other thing, before I forget, because I've done this before, You do have questionnaires. Please fill those out and leave them with us, because we look at those to find out what topics you might be interested in, what we can improve on. And we're also right now looking at whether we're going to do additional talks next year. So please give us what you think.
Super. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here, and thank you for showing up. This is a topic that I am absolutely passionate about. I started at Council on Aging back in 2005 as the development director. I stayed in that position for 4 years. And what I discovered was that it was really difficult to fundraise for senior services. And it was very disheartening to me. But what I was encountering with donors is, don't want to think about getting old. Nah, that's not, no. And by engaging, by donating, you were acknowledging that if we're lucky, we're all going to grow old. That's the best possible scenario for all of us. Back then, there were 79,000 seniors in Sonoma County. And what I knew is that we were serving about 8,000 a year, which meant that was over 70,000 people who were probably doing fine and maybe enjoying the last chapter of their lives. And so we wanted to bring awareness that we weren't just an agency that was dealing with frail, elderly, homebound, sick people. That there were people over the age of 60, into their 70s, 80s, and even 90s who were doing really well. So what was their secret? Why were they doing well? And why was that a possibility for all of us? So back in that time, I think it was about 2010, we founded the Sonoma Wine Country Games because we heard about the Huntsman World Games that were happening in St. George, and we discovered that there were 10,000 people that were showing up that were over the age of 50, that were healthy, they were active, and they were socially connected, and they were living their absolute best lives. So we started the Sonoma Wine Country Games here in Sonoma County in order to highlight that aging doesn't have to be scary. In fact, we can be really proactive about the way in which we age. And over the years, we've added other programs, and health is one of our departments, and we have multiple health programs, not just mental health programs, but also physical health programs as well. And so I'm happy to talk to you today and kind of go over what we're all going through at this point in my life. And I can say that because I'm 67, and I'm confronted with my own aging and how well I do it and how healthy, both physically and emotionally, that I am. Yeah, let's take off. First of all, we're approaching the holidays, and yeah, it can be stressful. We may have lost connections with some of our relatives. Maybe our kids are doing their own thing. The grandkids are doing their own thing. We might be alone. My son's not responding to me about Thanksgiving, which means, okay, not going to spend it with him. And it's, these are real life issues. But are they the worst challenges we've ever gone through? Absolutely not. We've had challenges throughout our entire life, albeit different from the challenges that we have as we age. But we got through it. We were strong. We're looking at it in the rearview mirror. And whatever challenges we're going through now, yeah, that's going to be in the rearview mirror sometime as well. As we age, we're dealing with a couple of things. Definitely mental health issues, and that is really around depression, around loss. As we age, we may no longer have a career, and that may be a way that we really identified with our career, and that's how we felt that we were productive and what we were doing was important, and even more than important, it was valued. People cared about what we did. It made a difference. It mattered. And if we've said farewell to our career, then what? We're also dealing with losses. We have friends that may no longer be around. They may have passed away. They may have, moved away. They've, have different interests now. We've lost family. We've lost spouses. We've lost parents. And we find that our world is shrinking. We no longer have all of the things that we had, or the people in our lives that we used to have. So how do we deal with all of this at this point in our life? How do we build a happy, healthy life? Well, for starters, know that you can turn it around at any age. It doesn't matter whether you're 60, whether you're 80, or whether you're 98. There's an opportunity to turn something around, especially the way we approach things, the way that we do things. Now, I look at, let's see, I think it's about 7 different pillars, and you'll see them with different titles, but there's similar teachings. So the first one that is, let me backtrack a little bit. Before we go into the pillars, let me say it's all about attitude, okay? And that's difficult to recognize attitude in ourselves. I mean, we know if we're around someone who's really negative, we don't really want to be around them, but it's really difficult to catch ourselves in a negative spiral. So think about that first is, how do I play into it? And I'm going to tell you a story about a woman who, she came into our office and somehow I ended up talking to her. And she was in her, probably early to mid 70s. And she was afraid of a lot of things. She was alone. Her friendships weren't really working. She was afraid that she was going to die alone in her house and that nobody was going to find her. Because she just didn't feel like she had that support system. And she lamented beyond that about the fact that I've tried to do so much. She was a very intelligent woman, had had an extremely successful career, but nothing was working anymore. It was, she had volunteered, she wasn't finding what she was looking for. It was, I tried this and then I tried that and I didn't connect, and it was on and on and on. Well, we had a brand new program at that time, which is called Pearls, and it's a mental health program, and it's to build happier, healthier lives. But it's not a, are you depressed? Come to do this program for your depression. It was a very proactive approach. It was, I want to be happier, I want to be healthier, and I want to work with a coach over 8 weeks and set some goals for myself. So this woman joined the program, and I got to tell you, the first few weeks were not going well at all. I mean, this program was an evidence-based program, and she was struggling through it, really struggling. In fact, struggling so much. Part of the weekly dialogue was her consideration of suicide. So that's where she was. But somehow, over the course of the time, and working with her coach, she had an aha moment. And she said, I'm the problem. She said, I'm continually looking at what's going to work for me, rather than flipping it and what can I do out there. Not what am I going to get out of it, what am I going to give to it. And it was life-changing. Then she got on track, she set her goals, and she's doing extremely well these days. But it was because something changed in her. Another story, a woman, we were doing these longevity classes, and this one woman was complaining how her grandchildren didn't listen to her anymore, and she was trying to talk to them, and nothing was happening. It was just, they don't care about me. Like, what I did doesn't have any value for them. My wisdom, they don't care. I mean, they have new technology, the way I did things, none of it matters. And again, that was a recurring theme at these meetings. Well, finally one day, she came in and she goes, turned it around. She said, I just started asking my grandchildren about them. And she said, I just kept asking, like, tell me about this and tell me about that. And she says, somewhere along the line, I appreciated them and they appreciated this new and budding relationship, and they wanted to ask about me. Wow. And so, again, let's start with attitude is absolutely everything. So now let's go into the pillars. So the first thing is and I'm going to send, or actually Diana's going to send resources out afterwards. So anything that I'm going over, you're going to have links to things, and also we've got some handouts too. So the first thing is purpose. The most important thing as we age especially after we've let go of a career, is we need to know why we're getting up every single day. If you've worked your whole life, people look forward to retirement like, oh, I can finally relax. I can watch the flowers grow. I can drink my coffee. I can read the paper. I don't have to do a thing, which is fine for a while. But it's not the way that we want to live out the rest of our lives. Every single day when we get up, we need to know, okay, what's my purpose today? What is my purpose today? What am I doing out there in the world? And maybe it's little. Maybe it's my granddaughter's going to drop off her grandson so that she can go shopping or she can go to the doctor, and I'm going to take care of my great-grandchild for the morning. Maybe it is, I'm going to bake some cookies, and I'm all alone. There's no way I need a whole batch of cookies, but I'm going to bring half of it over there, and I'm going to bring half of it to the other next door neighbor. Or maybe I've got a reading group that I'm going to, and I'm going to bring cookies for everyone. It could be that I'm volunteering. And I have to tell you, Sonoma County has the largest percentage of volunteers in the country. So we're an amazing community, and there are so many different volunteer opportunities available to you every single day. With COPE, you could become a COPE leader. You could be in a COPE group, and you could decide, you know what, we know that there's probably at least 4 or 5 seniors in our neighborhood who don't drive. They're not connected to this community. They may not know how they're going to get out if something happens. So I'm going to take it upon myself. I'm going to get a list. I'm going to go knock on their door, and I'm going to tell them, I want to make sure you're safe in the event of a disaster. So what can you tell me about you so that I know and you know that you're going to be connected when the time comes? There's the Volunteer Center, which is now not called the Volunteer Center. It's the Center for something or other. But the website is volunteernow.com. And again, holidays are a hard time. So what can you be doing to get in the holiday spirit, but you're also giving back? They do Secret Santa, the Volunteer Center. And absolutely, there's thousands and thousands and thousands of people who get gifts. All of our Meals on Wheels clients get a gift. And that's about, and all of our other programs. So that's about 800 presents. So volunteers go in, they work at the site, they wrap presents, and it's done in large groups. They help put together for different groups. So there's lots of opportunities. But the Volunteer Center, whatever they are now, will connect you with lots of other volunteer opportunities as well. Council on Aging is another resource. We have adult day programs that need volunteers. We need volunteer drivers. We have a mental health program. It's a peer support where people are trained and they actually work with seniors who are suffering from depression. Do I need to go faster, Diana?
No, just maybe about 5 to 10 minutes, that's it.
From now?
No, to the end, so like 2:05.
Perfect. Okay, we're right on track. Again, think about what your purpose is every single day when you get up. And it doesn't have to be big, but you got to know that I've been given another day, and this is what I'm going to do with my day. So plan that out. The next thing is spirituality. I don't know if you know, but if you belong to an organized religion, you have an average of 7 additional years. So it extends your life by 7 years if you belong to a spiritual community. But let's face it, not everybody is comfortable there for whatever reason. But explore. Maybe you grew up, Catholic, and that's not working for you anymore. There are online services that are pretty darn amazing. There's some different churches that are different from maybe what you grew up with, and maybe that's something that you'd like to participate with. Explore, find something that has meaning to you. And if it's not that, meditation. In fact, I think everybody should be meditating, and I know we've got something planned at the end, but I'm a huge fan of it. It is a way to reduce your stress, just let yourself breathe, let you basically experience gratitude and what you want out of your life, and just be very centered about it. So there are a million free resources online. You could just say, 5-minute meditation for stress, or 5-minute. They have lots of short ones. It doesn't mean that you have to dedicate an hour to it. They're guided meditations, which means you are talked through it. I remember years ago thinking, I can't meditate. I can't stop my brain for any length of time. But these guided meditations are fabulous. So explore a spiritual side, whatever that is for you, whatever your practice is. It might be yoga. It doesn't matter. But find a way to calm your body and feel connected in some way to your own spirituality. The next one is personal development. Lifelong learning is huge. You've got to stimulate that brain. You've got to be learning new things all the time, and experiment with all kinds of things. The New York Times games are amazing. There's JC classes, there's classes here at the Senior Center. I pulled this. This is amazing. And I don't know where you live, because I know it's not Windsor, but Hillsburg has a senior center, Cloverdale has a senior center, and so on and so on. But again, there's the JC, there's Sonoma State Lifelong Learning. There's, if you stream TV, you can get master classes, which are amazing. But push yourself. Just continue to grow. Continue to explore yourself and the things that are important to you. If you've never journaled in your life, start journaling. Talk about your memories, talk about your feelings, about your relationships, where you want them to be. It'll help with forgiveness. It'll help with, connecting maybe with people that you lost contact with. Also our Pearls program. Think about it. You'll get a link to the program. But again, we have trained coaches and who work with people over, I think right now there's not a waiting list, but there has been up until like this moment. So if you want to work with someone and figure out, okay, what direction am I going? How can I do this better? How can I be happier, healthier? Reach out to Council on Aging and the Pearls coach. But set your own goals, and they could be little. So I'm going over a lot of things. Just pick one thing that you want to change. Just one thing. And then you're moving yourself in the right direction. Don't have to do everything at once. Every little thing makes a huge difference. The next one is connection. We were born to be connected. And as we grow older, it's easier and easier to be isolated. There's no doubt about that. And for those of us who have maybe been introverts, that's even harder. Like walking into a room where we don't know anyone is not a happy, pleasant place. But keep pushing through. Start with baby steps. There's an amazing program. It's the Episcopal Homes. They're now called Front Porch. They have a program. It used to be called Senior Center Without Walls. And I've got a few of these up there, but you'll get the link as well. But basically, they have classes, and they're either online or by phone. And anybody can call in if you're not into technology, or if you are, you log in. But there are, oh my God, there's probably 50 or 60 different classes that you can participate in. It goes on and on and on. Again, pick it up. I can't even begin to go through this, but there are so many. It's a really easy, non-threatening way to start to connect with other people, and maybe you'll just start feeling a little bit better about it, and maybe you'll feel that you want to be out there. But there's opportunities all day, every day to engage in these programs. And then if you don't belong to the Senior Center, join the Senior Center, for gosh sakes. I mean, there's things going on every single day. And again, I don't know where you live. I don't know if you're in, a senior complex, if there is a club room. Maybe they don't specifically organize activities, but you can start pulling them together yourself, like putting together a book club or something like that. So again, put yourself out there a little bit at a time, but the more connection that you have, the better. Sonoma County is an age-friendly community. We're also in the process of implementing the master plan for aging in Sonoma County. With both of those, connection is such a huge thing. So if you're not connected, even connect with your next door neighbors at the very least. Or maybe on the other side if you don't like the one right next door. But just find a way to create some new connections. And take it slow and let it happen naturally. You'll meet people, you'll meet your right tribe. That's what they say, connect with your right tribe. The people who feed your soul. It's a true story. There are 5 women in Okinawa. They have a friendship circle. They all live in the same neighborhood, and they come out into the street or the sidewalk every single morning. And they have their tea together, and they talk about their life and what's going on, and their family, and what their day is going to look like. These 5 women have been doing this for 90 years. They're 95 years old. That connection has kept them going. It's such a lifeline for them. So, again, you'll find your people. If you don't have them, you'll find them when you least expect it. But just, again, go in with an open mind and allow whatever's going to happen to happen. Next one is movement. Gotta move the body. Gotta move the body. But it doesn't mean that you've got to go to the gym and you got to lift weights, or that you have to go out and run, 2 miles. It just means move it. Whether that's doing your gardening, whether that is, if you're driving to the store, park way in the back. Don't look for the closest parking space. Walk. Get a watch that tracks your steps and aim for a certain number of steps per day. Again, the Senior Center has great classes here. There's chair yoga. There's balance classes. The county, and I know they do it here too, Matter of Balance. As we get older, we're at huge fall risk. Our balance isn't as good. There's trip hazards everywhere. We don't lift up our feet quite as much as we used to. If you haven't taken a Matter of Balance class, you absolutely have to take a Matter of Balance class. When you're brushing your teeth, stand on one foot, see how long you can do it. Make sure you can grab the sink though. But just keep testing yourself, just keep pushing yourself, because I guarantee you will do better for so much longer if you do that. We now have a program for our home-delivered Meals on Wheels clients. I can tell you we find at least 1 senior per week on the floor, and they can't get up. Either they've broken a hip, it's not good. But we now have a program where we have a coach who goes in for an 8-week period in-home and does balance classes with seniors in their homes. And boy, the difference has been night and day. Just that confidence level that they know what their risks were in their house. They've gotten rid of all of that. They know whether their issues were balance or strength or maybe both, and then they've been working on both. So again, move. Walk. You can combine several areas. So if you've got, we had a gal working for us, and she was in her 60s, but she was in her 70s. Every single day, she went for a walk with her 92-year-old neighbor, and her 92-year-old neighbor could easily do 2 miles per day, easily. So again, it's never too late to start doing something. It's never too late. Take it slow, and you'll just find that you get stronger all the time. We do it's a healthy aging class, and you'll read about it in here. Unfortunately, right now, we're grant funded. We can only do it in low-income housing apartments, but it's amazing because it's built community where there wasn't community. So the class size is 12. They come together twice a week, and it's, again, 8-week session. But they do things like how many times can you go from a sitting to a standing position? And so they all have goals, but they're working together, they're cheering each other on, they're helping each other, and there's a big age span, but they're all getting healthier, they're all getting stronger, more physically active, but they turned into a community. where there wasn't a community. So again, so far only available in low-income housing. But hopefully we'll get some other funding and we'll be able to extend the reach on that one. Next one is nutrition. Nutrition. Really the best way to go is the Mediterranean diet. The other diet that you can look at, which is very similar, is the Blue Zones diet. Are any of you familiar with Blue Zones? Okay. You want to go check out the website, and there is a link there. Blue Zones, gosh, it's been in existence probably for a good 20 years. It was a fellow out of Minnesota, and basically what he did was he wanted to research the areas with the greatest percentage of centurions. So people who were over the age of 100. And he basically found 5 areas in the world. He called them Blue Zones because he had this huge map and he would circle it with a blue marker. So the areas are Okinawa, Japan, Ikaria, Greece, Sardinia, Italy, Loma Linda, California, and then the last one is it's the Noyo Coast in Costa Rica. And basically then what he did is he went to each one of these areas and he spent like a good 2 to 3 months living there with the people who lived there, and he was like, what's different? Why are these people living beyond 100? Why is there no dementia? What's the difference? And there were similarities, and it was around a lot of these principles that I'm talking about. But diet was a big one, and what he found in all of these areas is they were largely plant-based. They didn't exclude meat, but they only had it maybe 2 or 3 times a month, and it was only like 2 ounces. So instead of a big steak, it was it was maybe a meal that had little pieces of meat in it. Seafood 2 to 3 times a week. No more really than that, but fruits, vegetables, I think sourdough bread worked everywhere, nuts, beans, the basic diet. And what they recommend is about 90% plant-based, and then weaving in the seafood a little bit more often than red meat or chicken or any of that. It was more seafood, less of all the other. But they were all eating that way. They were all moving naturally. They were not working out in gyms. They were, they were plowing the fields. Loma Linda, California, which doesn't quite fit with everything else, but the reason is, I think it's
Seventh-day Adventist.
That's exactly it. So they have a vegetarian diet, a strong spiritual connection. It's their family, and they're hard workers. They don't drink, where everyone else did drink, like a glass of wine or a glass of sake, but not overindulge. And in Loma Linda, California, there's a story about, I'm almost done, about a fellow, he was 93, he was a wealthy fellow, and he was very angry because he needed a new fence built, and they were going to charge him $7,000. Well, he thought that was the most ridiculous thing in the world, and so he was going to build his own fence. And so 93 years old, all weekend long, he's out there digging the post holes, he's mixing the concrete and setting the posts, and he built the whole fence over the weekend. Monday morning, he was in surgery. He was the surgeon. 93 years old. So again, it's don't stop, don't stop, don't stop. So again, I have the handouts on nutrition. Last, it's gratitude. There's so much that we can complain about every single day, all the things that aren't going right, but it will change your life and it'll change your day if every single day you find at least one thing to be grateful for. There is always one thing. It might be the incredible fall colors, the lighting this time of year. It could be that we have another beautiful warm day. It could be a conversation that you had with someone in the produce section of the grocery store. But find that one thing, journal it every day when you go to bed, and focus on what you're grateful for, and the things that are overwhelming, They'll get better. You'll be looking at them in the rearview mirror. But we all have the opportunity to make it better, to make our health better, both physical and mental. It's committing to it and doing one thing at a time. And give yourself a lot of grace. Any questions? Nope? Yes?
Can you let everyone know what the age is for people to do the Council on Aging classes?
Who do the classes?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really 60 and above. There's a couple programs that are actually younger, and Pearls might be one of them. It might be 50 or 55, but for the most part, it's 60 and older. So,
For this senior center, you only have to be 50 and above to be a member. I don't know what the other senior centers are, if they're the same.
different, yeah.
And then, can you touch maybe, a lot of it was kind of focused on seniors. Is there, a lot of stuff applies the same thing, but what about the younger?
Okay, yeah. It applies to everyone, but I think the most important thing for all ages is to remember, invest in intergenerational programs. We have a program, in fact, anyone can volunteer for it. It's called To Legacy, and basically what we do, we have young interns, college students, anyone can do this, but they volunteer for an 8-week program. They come to our office, they pick up 2 meals, they go to the senior's house, and they start they have lunch together, they start talking. Over the 8-week period, the young person interviews the older adult. They look at pictures, they talk about life. An incredible friendship forms over this time. At the end of the 8 weeks, the young person or the volunteer who's going in writes their life story for the senior, and we publish it in a hardbound book, which is their legacy, and it's what they have to give their families. But honestly, the relationship that forms between the older adult and the younger person, it is so rich for both. It's, again, it's a gift. It's a gift. So I think my message to a younger person is get to know an older adult. It's a relationship that you will treasure for the rest of your life. And it's something that we can all do. I'm so appreciative of parents who get their kids involved volunteering with senior organizations. I know during COVID we had so many parents, because the kids were out of school, they volunteered with their kids to home deliver meals. And again, our fellow who goes into their homes and teaches them fall prevention, he's like 23. He just graduated with his kinesiology degree, and it's like, oh, he loves it. He loves it. So, fortunately, more and more young people are getting into senior services, but it's what we want to instill in our families. Just the importance of every single generation and appreciating, the contributions of each and learning from each other. Okay. Thank you.
So I want to make sure everyone signed in so that you can get the resources from Marrianne out. So if you haven't, raise your hand so that Christina can bring it around. And then also, yes.
No, I didn't sign.
Oh, okay. So the other thing is, just a reminder, there are questionnaires on your seat when we're completely done. If you can fill those out and let us know your opinions, that's greatly appreciated. So what I'm going to do now is end up with one of the pillars Marrianne talked about, and that's the spirituality portion and meditation. So besides being the COPE leader, and I'm a retired geologist, I am a life coach and an energy healer. So I use tuning forks, sound healing, to move the energy mountain. So I just want to give a little spiel on a different workshop that I often do. So to start with, we are completely energy inside. Everything is energy. So when you get down to the molecular level of our body, even the table, atoms are moving around and it's energy. We know that, and it's subconscious, we say it. We say, I have low energy today, right? So it's all energy. And when you meet someone, sometimes you're not even really close to them, but you might feel like an uplift, or sometimes you go, wow, I'm avoiding that person, right? So our energy also extends outside of our body. Okay. So we're going to do a little meditation to tap into yourself. We are powerful. We are more powerful than what we've ever been told. We have an energetic portion of us. You can call it your soul, whatever it is. It really doesn't matter, because we down here, we just we assign these terms, these labels, and these things. It doesn't really matter. But when we connect into our own heart, our hearts are extremely powerful. And that is where our strength and knowledge, intuition, everyone has intuition, and it's just a matter of tapping into it. And you want to know the secret is? Set the intent and believe. It happens. It is simple. We complicate things as a human being. We just overcomplicate. So, I am going to ask everyone, maybe get relaxed, and if you need, put the things on the floor so you can just relax. And I'm going to ask you to close your eyes. And just start by taking some breaths, some deep breaths. And visualize the air coming in and out of the heart. Slow breaths, maybe to the count of 5 in, count of 5 out. But don't really count, because that'll distract you. Feel your own heart. Feel the heart pumping. The blood pulsing through the body. And sometimes if we just place our hand on our heart, it helps focus that area if you need. So I want you to set the intent to release everything that is not for your highest good. And just let it float out on the air as you exhale. Let it go even more. We carry around with us stories, baggage. A lot of it isn't even our own stories. It's things we've been told, things as a child that we carry with us into adulthood. Now set into your heart unconditional love. Compassion. And patience. For yourself. Because it starts with each and every one of us. You can only give what you have for yourself. Let that love flow throughout the body. Nurturing yourself. Let it expand outside of the body. This is the energetic portion of who you are. when our energy is high, we are connected. Believe in you, because you have that power and understanding within you already. You're all amazing individuals. Just embrace that inside, who you are. And know that you can tap into this anytime you want. You set the intent and you believe. Feel the stillness now. So feel the heart again. Keep coming back. Feel the presence of your physical heart. The love for yourself. The openness to let things happen for you. And to believe that it's there. So take some deep breaths again. Feel the physical body presence. Take a couple more breaths, and when you're ready, open your eyes. So I want to thank everyone for coming, not just for this month, but for all the other months that you have attended. There are a few that have come like almost the whole time I see out there. And please, like I said, give us your information on the questionnaire. Feel free to contact me on the email with any questions. You can also, Christine is always available for anything. So anything to do with personal or natural emergencies, you have resources here. So, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.